filling the world and subduing the world are dual mandates. They're intertwined with one another. God gave mankind a world filled with secrets and wonders for man to discover and to harness for human flourishing. But it takes a world full of people to discover all of the secrets in a world full of wonders. And that's how mankind profits from his labor. The first 8 verses of this chapter are probably the most famous passage in the book of Ecclesiastes. They list a variety of things that in their right season and in their right purpose, they are perfect. Planting and plucking, breaking and building, mourning and merriment. And in the right time and for the right purpose, they're all profitable. But now verse 9 introduces the question, what makes them profitable? What profit does any working man have in that wherein he laboreth? And that's the theme of this section, and that's the question that Solomon answers in the next few verses. Glance over a page to Ecclesiastes 5 for just a moment, and look at verse 9, Ecclesiastes 5:9. There he calls it the profit of the earth. And he says that this profit of the earth was meant for all of us. All mankind was meant to harvest the earth's bounty, harness the strength of its beasts, mine its mineral wonders, control the forces of nature, all to discover the profit of the earth. And it's kind of like handing a kid a set of Tinker Toys or a set of Legos and saying, here, son, see what you can do with this. See what you can build with this. Let your imagination run wild. See what the possibilities are. But you know, the earth that God gave to his children is far more complex and far more full of possibilities than any Tinker Toy set. God gave our first parents an unsullied garden, a perfect and brand new world. But it didn't take long for our first parents to break the big expensive toy. Of course, you can still do a lot of things with broken Legos, but it just takes a lot more work, and it doesn't turn out as nicely, and it doesn't last as long either. But still, this broken world is ours with all of its dented wonders, and we can still enjoy its fruits despite the increased scratches and sweat they cause us. And that's what Solomon calls attention to back in Ecclesiastes 3:10. Solomon has seen a lot of different kinds of labor or travail, which God hath given to the sons of men to be exercised with. And in verse 13, he'll repeat that enjoying the rewards of profitable labor is the gift of God. But now here's the thing. Apart from their benefit to mankind, all of the treasures in and under and over this world are of no real value at all. Look back at verse 11. He says that God made everything beautiful in its time, meaning all those things listed in the first 8 verses. And now we'll return later to the rest of verse 11, but notice how he goes on to say in verse 12 that there is no good in them, but for a man to rejoice and to do good in this life. The only thing that everything is beautiful and good in its time for is the benefit of mankind. There is no good in those things merely for their own sakes. They're only good insofar as man is able to rejoice in them and do something good with them. This world and everything in it was made for Adam and for his race to rule and to use for the glory of God and for the flourishing of those created in his image. The human touch, mankind's creativity and industry, that's what brings value to the unrefined minerals in the earth, to the untamed beasts of the field, to the wild fruits of the vineyards and orchards and gardens. Otherwise, nature untilled and untamed is wild and hostile. Acres of swamp are cheap, but a plot of cultivated land, drained and cultivated, is valuable because there man has exercised his dominion over the world. He has brought order out of chaos as a reflection of what the Creator did in the beginning.